When I first started this review, I didn't think I was gonna feel that way. So keep that in mind. That is the biggest negative thing I could say about this thing so far. What's up guys? Welcome back to the Dusty Fish Company. Today I am doing another kayak review for y'all. We are reviewing the Old Town Sportsman. This is the Autopilot 120. What makes this kayak stand out from a lot on the market is it comes from the factory with a Minn Kota iPilot trolling motor, completely hardwired in. This is a factory kayak. This is how you will get it from the factory, minus the battery is the one thing you'll have to add. Today, I'm gonna take y'all through this Autopilot 120, give you an honest review, and then we're gonna jump out on the water and check it out. I have personally never operated a trolling motor powered kayak, so I'm excited about this and I'm gonna bring y'all along with me. Let's go. So this kayak is 12 foot long. Like I said, it comes with the iPilot trolling motor. It has been rigged with a fish finder, which is rigged on there as well. You have a very unique steering system here that provides a hands-free fishing experience for you. You've got a foot drive rudder system that controls your rudder back here. So you're not reaching down to the side of the seat over here and using a handle to try to turn. You can keep both hands on your fishing gear, which is really nice, especially if you're hooked up on a fish and you're trying to get it out of structure, something like that. The kayak will work with you, not against you. The seat, compared to a lot of kayaks I've been in, seems wider, deeper, and more comfortable. It looks like it's got some arch support right there for your back, which if you're on the water all day, will make things super comfortable. You do have two rod holders up front. You've got two forward-facing rod holders right here, and then you've got two rear-facing rod holders right here for trolling or just extra rod storage. Moving back from the seat, oh, one really nice thing on this kayak, right here next to your seat, you have this dry storage right here, which is easily accessible when you're sitting on it. I'll show you more of that when we get on the water. But having that access right there for dry storage for your phone, keys, whatever, is super nice. Moving back, you have a ton of deck space back here on the back of this thing. Plenty of room for camping gear, coolers, tackle bags, whatever. As far as accessorizing this kayak, I'm gonna run back up front real quick. You have several guide rails, one here, one there with the fish finder on it, and then back here, you've got the same thing. So you got rail here, a rail here. You can see this one has the paddle mount right here, so you can carry a spare paddle with you. This one has been rigged some. Overall, it's mostly stock. This one has been rigged some. My buddy Nathan from Southern Salt Bait Company, from Southern Salt Fishing here on YouTube, he loaned me this kayak. This is his personal fishing kayak, so I could do a review on it for you guys. Now, let's get it out on the water. Let's check it out and let's get an honest review of this thing. Now, to give y'all a little bit of perspective, I'm 6 foot, 280 pounds. There are not a lot of kayaks on the market that I feel comfortable and stable on and feel confident while fishing when I'm out on the water. So let's go see how this thing does. Let's go. Oh, I'm spoiled now. All right, guys, I am out on the water. First glance, getting in the kayak, a lot of times getting in and out of a kayak can be the most wobbly and the most uncomfortable for people. This being a wider, longer kayak, it was nice. I got in it pretty easy. It felt comfortable getting in and out of it. I'm out here in the middle of the river now. I am on the motor. So the trolling motor comes with this remote. You've got several features on here. Obviously, you've got your steering. You've got spot lock, just like on a regular trolling motor on a normal boat. So it'll spot lock, it'll hold me right there in place. It'll get us set up, and it'll just hold me there all day until the battery dies. So that's nice. Let me get back under power. So like I was saying on shore, this is my first time being on a trolling motor powered kayak, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of spoiling. If I'd have test drove one of these before I bought my Native or any of my other kayaks, I would have probably spent the extra money and went ahead and got something with a trolling motor on it, because that is just freaking nice, y'all. All right, so now I want to check out this hands-free rudder system. So I've got the trolling motor tracking straight, and we're going to use the foot controls here. Oh, that's so cool. So I just push them, and we're turning. And that's with no help from the trolling motor at all. There is a rudder back here that turns with those pedals. So that system's steering from the back of the boat, from the stern of the boat, and the trolling motor's steering from the bow. So technically, if you got in a tight spot, let's play with it real quick. I'm gonna hit both steering systems at the same time. So we're gonna go to the left. I turn the back, we got this turned. We are freaking cutting. That is a tight circle, y'all. You can see with a little bit of wake I put off is right here. This thing's cutting a pretty tight circle. It'll get tighter with the trolling motor all the way over. That is handy, guys. I will say, this kayak, obviously it's got the trolling motor, it's got the fish finder, it's got the batteries. It is super heavy. So if you're concerned about, you know, getting it up on the roof of, your car or up to a higher point in a truck bed and it's not something you think is gonna be easy for you, this probably is not the kayak for you at all. It is super heavy. I'll link a couple of my other kayak reviews, and they're not powered kayaks like this one, but they're good, light, affordable kayaks. I'll drop those reviews at the end of this one if you want to check those out instead. But let's get back to this thing. I do want to see how fast she'll go. So I'm gonna get turned around right here in the creek. All right. We're gonna go full speed. We are all the way up to 10. This thing's moving along good. I got the wind at my back, but I'm going against the current. She's putting off a heck of a little wake here. She's moving along good. It cuts through the water nice. It doesn't seem to grab too hard and pull the bow around, which is good. A lot of kayaks, I don't know what it is, if it's the hull design or whatever, when you're trying to track in a straight line, it feels like the kayak's working against you sometimes. So I haven't felt that on this. I do want to do a stability test. I'm going to get set up over here for y'all. I don't know if I'm going to stand up on this just because this is Nathan's kayak and I don't want to dump it and lose all the stuff he's got in here. he said screw it. He said go ahead and dump it. Go ahead. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and spot lock myself right here. So I'm going to let the trolling motor, it's going to spin me around into the wind of the current, whichever's stronger, and it's going to hold us in place. And, well, I'm in deep enough water, it shouldn't hurt if this goes bad. Let's give it a shot here. Ooh. Yo, this is not bad at all. I was not expecting myself to be this confident and comfortable standing up. I don't do well standing on kayaks, and this might be the most comfortable one I've stood in so far. I don't know about fishing yet. I'd have to get a little practice in standing up here fishing, but this is a good base. My personal kayak is a Native Slayer. It's a 12.5 foot kayak, so it's 6 inches longer than this one and about the same width. Oh God. Ooh, I almost dumped it. It had that trolling motor sideways. I kicked it on at full speed. All right, so the last two things I really wanted to touch base on before we take this thing in and end this show is the cabin area, where you sit and where you're gonna spend all your time when you're in your kayak. So as far as accessibility, there are tons of little storage pockets all over this kayak. There's storage down here. You've got storage everywhere. There's some storage under the seat. Like I said, you've got your dry box, which is easily accessible here, which is super nice. I wish I had that on my kayak. And then you have accessibility to all your storage in the back. So if you have a black box from Yak Attack or a cooler with rod holders or dry storage, whatever, you can access it from the cockpit here. The last thing I wanted to check on it, we're not going to go crazy, but I do want to rock this thing some. I'm leaning way over and it's holding just fine. I'm going to do it the other way. It's barely bowing. It's barely buckling into the water at all. The secondary buoyancy on this kayak's actually not bad. I'm kind of impressed. I'll be honest, when I started, I was not expecting to have that great of a review or experience on this kayak. Biggest complaint that I've got, and it's gonna be with any powered kayak, is gonna be the weight. It is super heavy. It's not gonna bother me because I mean, I fish 4 or 5 days a week, and I probably do the kayak once a week. For me, loading it into the bed of a truck's not gonna be that big of a deal, but for some people it might be, and I just want y'all to be aware of that. If you're not comfortable moving this thing, transporting it, storing it, whatever, you're not gonna wanna use it, and then it's gonna be wasted money no matter how much you wanna fish out of it. So keep that in mind. That is the biggest negative thing I could say about this thing so far. My only problem now is mine's a pedal drive, and I'm freaking spoiled. This is great. So that's gonna end my review for you on this Old Town Autopilot 120. All in all, overall, the whole thing, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It maneuvers well, it's fun, it's stable. I'd feel comfortable fishing out of this thing all day. The seat I didn't address is super comfortable. This is the most comfortable kayak seat I've ever been in. With a 7 out of 10, the only downfall you're gonna have, number 1 is the weight, and number 2 is gonna be the price point. These are extremely expensive because I do feel like you're paying for the name Old Town. So if you are in the market for a power-driven kayak like this, if you currently have a kayak, look at adding a trolling motor to yours, because if you're comfortable with your kayak, you like it, it could be more cost-effective for you just to add a trolling motor and add the battery to yours and do the same thing that I'm doing out here right now in this Old Town for a fraction of the price. If you do want one with a motor, this is the only kayak that comes from the factory fully set up with a motor, wiring, the whole 9 yards for it. So this is your only option for that, unless you're gonna piece something together yourself. Would I buy this kayak for coming from the factory like this? Yeah, I think I would. When I first started this review, I didn't think I was gonna feel that way, and now I do. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to drop them down below in the comment section. I'll get back to each and every one of you and answer whatever questions I can. If I don't have the answer, Mr. Nathan from Southern Salt is a kayak expert. I'll get the answer from him and get it to y'all. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate y'all subscribing. If you're into fishing content anywhere from Texas to South Florida, give me a subscribe, check out the channel. I have a ton of fishing content as well, and I'd love to have y'all along on the journey. I'm Dusty. This is the Dusty Fish Company. This is the Old Town Autopilot 120. I'm out.